Hi friend, I am Renee and welcome to my Kudos Kitchen. If you are new here and if you are returning, then that would be great and welcome back. Today I'm going to show you how I make my orange cashew chicken salad, and it's a recipe I've had on my blog since about 2015. This recipe was inspired by a restaurant I had been to where I ordered their cashew chicken salad, and it was just so good. It was something that stuck with me. So when I got home, I tried to do my version, which I tweaked a little bit from what I thought their version was. I added orange and tarragon, and this cashew orange chicken salad is delicious. So let me show you how to make it. The recipe calls for, my recipe calls for 4 to 5 cups of shredded or chopped or whatever kind of however you like your chicken pieces to be. I used shredded, and this is rotisserie chicken, and it's about, I'm going to say it's about 3 to 4 cups worth. So about 3 to 4 cups of shredded rotisserie chicken or leftover chicken, whatever you have. Cashews, of course, which I will be chopping. Oranges. Can't have orange chicken salad without the oranges. I'm going to be zesting them with my zester and also using some of the orange juice. Shallots, honey. Now in the recipe it does call for Dijon mustard, but lo and behold, when I went to go find Dijon mustard in my fridge, I didn't have it. So I'm going to substitute stone ground mustard, and I'm going to use a little bit less because I know this is kind of potent in flavor. A little bit different than what a Dijon would be, a little milder, more acidic, but I'm going to use this and it should be just fine. I don't really foresee any sort of problems with flavor. And let's see, tarragon. This is fresh from the garden. If you're not familiar with tarragon is, it's sort of lightly anise in flavor, so lightly licorice. If you're a fan of fennel, fresh fennel, it's kind of got a very mild fennel-y flavor. So I think chicken salad and tarragon go perfectly together. So I do have fresh tarragon. It calls for about 1 teaspoon and some chopped celery. I'll be doing that. I will show you a handy dandy trick too to remove the strings from the celery if you're not a fan of those, which most people aren't. Let's see, salt and pepper. And what else am I forgetting? Mayonnaise. Yes, I'm going to be using mayonnaise. And I think that's it. So let's begin. So this is pretty much what I like to call a dump recipe. Because really, all you do is dump all the ingredients into a bowl, a large bowl, and give it a good stir. And once everything is combined, then you stick it in the fridge and let it chill for, 3-4 hours, just so all the flavors marry and combine. And then you can put it on whatever you like. So the chicken is in the bowl. I'm going to add some grated orange zest, which I wash. I have washed these oranges. The recipe calls for, what does it call for? 1 teaspoon. I'm going to go a little bit more, even with my own recipe. I'm going to add a little bit more than that because I do like a lot of orange flavor. Try not to get the white part, just the actual orange peel part, because the white is called the pith and it can be bitter in flavor. So just be careful just to continue to rotate the orange. So you're not grabbing any of that white. You're not grating it too far down. That looks pretty good, I'm going to say. So there's the oranges. I'm going to add, again, because I don't have the Dijon, I'm going to add a little bit less than what the recipe called for. And it did, the original was 1 tablespoon. So I'll go with probably a half a tablespoon of stone ground mustard. And I do like to eyeball. Feel free to use measuring spoons. So there's that. And now for the tip about removing the strings from the celery, I like to use a vegetable peeler. You can also use a paring knife and just ever so lightly peel those strings right out of your celery stick. It's kind of rewarding to do this. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. Just grab a little bit and try and get as many strings as you can. There we go. That one I took a little extra off, but that's okay. That's not going to hurt anything. There we go. Easy as can be. Now, this is a little time consuming, but in the grand scheme of things, if it makes your chicken salad easier to eat, I'm all for it. So I'm going to use 3 ribs of celery, and I'm going to follow the same process with each rib. So by looking at it, you can tell that I've gone ahead and I peeled all the strings from the 3 ribs of celery. And now I will just run a knife down the center of this rib, as I did with the other 2 ribs. Put them in a nice pile and give them a dice. We're just looking for a small dice, nothing too big. You know, you don't want big chunks of celery in your chicken salad, but you don't want them to be so small that they're not even noticeable as far as texture, because that's what you want. You want texture and, of course, the flavor of celery, which to me, I love. If you don't love it, you can leave it out for sure. But I think it really adds a nice balanced component to a chicken salad. I think almost all chicken salads use celery, but you don't have to, as I said. So this is roughly half a cup. I'm going to go ahead and add this into the bowl with the chicken and the orange zest. What else was in there? Oh yes, the mustard. And now I'm going to dice up a shallot. I'll probably use just this one part, this 1/2. Now, as a substitute for shallot, if you wanted to, you could put in some finely diced red onion or purple onion, whatever you like to call it. That would work fine. I think also some chopped chives would be a lovely substitution if you didn't have the shallots. Or, of course, you can just go with some finely minced garlic. I would never tell you no for that. But I wouldn't add a lot because that, as you know, has stronger flavor than a shallot. A shallot is like a combination of a onion and garlic. And here's no rhyme or reason to how I'm dicing this, but I'm going to do a kind of a small dice on the shallot. The recipe calls for, what does it call for? 1 large shallot minced. I hate it when recipes do that. So I'm going to say we're looking at 1 tablespoon, maybe 1.5 tablespoons of minced shallot. Of course, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and add this other one. So we're going to be looking at roughly 2 tablespoons minced shallots. You can use as much or as little as you like, or again, leave it out entirely. But I urge you to keep it in just for that extra kick of oniony flavor. Mild onion flavor. Okay, so this goes in the bowl. And then I'm going to add the mayonnaise. This is an olive oil based mayonnaise. You can use your favorite, whatever you have. It says 1/2 cup of mayonnaise. So again, I do tend to eyeball. If you're not comfortable doing that, I totally understand. Get out your measuring cup. I'm going to err on the side of caution and go with that amount first, which I'm guessing is 1/2 cup. And then I'm also going to add in fresh orange juice from the orange that was already zested. So, oh, that'll be good. And of course, the orange juice will give the chicken salad additional moisture. And it calls for honey, about a tablespoon, 1.5, 2 tablespoons of honey. Sorry for the way I cook, you guys. It is the way I cook. So roughly 2 tablespoons. That'll be very nice and sweet. And now I'm going to chop up some cashews. If you don't have a nut chopper like this that I'm going to be using, you can always use a chef's knife or any kind of knife you have to run it through the cashews. I find this is easy because it keeps the chopped nuts contained and they don't go flying all over the cutting board like it would with a chef's knife. Now I'm not making them too tiny of pieces because I want the texture, but you'll notice, hopefully you'll notice, every time you hit down on this, the blades rotate, so it's a nice chopping action that happens. And sometimes I help it along by giving it a spin. Okay. You can add as much or as little cashews as you like. I'm a cashew lover. I'm going to say this looks like about a half a cup. These are roasted salted cashews. You can use raw, no problems, and you can use unsalted. When using the roasted salted, of course you won't want to use as much regular salt, into the recipe with the pepper. So we will taste and adjust. And then the last thing right now is we are going to chop up the tarragon. You just want the leaves. So I'm going to strip them. If you go backwards on the stem and pull the leaves off, you'll get just the leaves and not the stem, which is a really good way to do all your herbs. Now tarragon is rather strong in flavor, even though I think I did say it was mild, but it could take over the chicken salad if you add too much. Of course, dried tarragon is more potent in flavor than its fresh counterpart. So if you're using dry in place of the fresh, don't use quite as much as what I'm using here. And I'm going to add in what looks to be 1 teaspoon of freshly chopped tarragon. I may add more depending after I give it a taste. There we go. And now this goes into the chicken salad. And we're going to give it all a nice stir. Yeah, right now, just from looking at it, I can tell I'm going to want to add more, but we'll see. We'll test it. So I'll be right back, and we'll give it a good stir. So I did forget to add my salt and pepper. I'm going to add a good pinch of freshly cracked black pepper, and salt, probably a half a teaspoon. Now we give it all a good stir. And the flavors will really be more pronounced after it has had a chance, the chicken salad has had a chance to chill in the refrigerator. Well, you'll get a pretty good idea of what it's going to be after your taste test. Hope you can see this. I'm thinking it needs a little bit more mayonnaise for creaminess. Yeah, just a little. So we'll go ahead and add just a pinch, and then I will give it a taste. So that looks like about 1 tablespoon. This would be so good stuffed in a garden ripe big tomato, a big old tomato. That would be so good. Or just scooped on some lettuce leaves, or a sandwich, of course, on a croissant. What would you do with your chicken salad? or I should say, what do you do with your chicken salad? Now, there are many times I have added to my chicken salad like a dried cranberry, and that would be delicious here. But I'm trying to keep, you know, this a little bit less added sugar. And even though cranberries aren't high in sugar, when they're dried, the sugar intensifies. So I'm going to keep those out this time and see how it tastes. Okay, so I'm back for the honest taste test opinion. Again, I've stirred it all up. All the ingredients are in. Here's my taste. I'm glad. I don't want to talk with my mouth full. Ooh, I'm going to say it's really good right now. I'm glad I added the extra orange zest because it gives it a nice brightness, pop of flavor. Honestly, I don't notice the difference between the stone ground mustard and the Dijon. So, hey, that's a good thing. Tarragon is just enough, not too much, not too little. You can taste it, but it's not overpowering. Yeah, and I think the creaminess level is really good. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cover it, pop it in the fridge. What you should do too, cover it, pop it in the fridge. Let all the flavors marry and intensify just a little bit more. And then you'll be ready to eat in 3 to 4 hours. You could eat it now. Nobody's going to know. You'll certainly still enjoy it. But just for the best flavor experience, I would go ahead and refrigerate it for a few hours. So I'll show you the finished product in a little bit. Okay, I am back. And instead of it being later that same day, it's actually the very next day. The chicken salad has been in the fridge, covered overnight. And now I'm going to plate it up. Since I already gave that a taste test yesterday. So you can see what it looks like, all nice and plated. And boy, does it smell good. As soon as I took the lid off, the plastic wrap off the bowl, oh my goodness, this scent of orange, yum, delish. All right, so there's what I would call a good mounding of chicken salad. I'm also going to grate a little additional fresh orange zest on top, just to really drive home that orange flavor. Not necessary, but I think it'll be pretty, as well as tasty, if it comes off the grater. Okay, not quite what I wanted, but you get the gist. A few tasty orange slices. A sprig of fresh tarragon. Maybe 2 for the plate. There we go. And a final sprinkling of chopped cashews. There, that looks good. We'll put a few on the plate, whole ones, and you'll never miss the chips. I also decided I'm going to put a little bit of fresh tarragon up, sprinkled over the chicken salad. Just for that little pop of green and freshness. Can't even see the toast down on there anymore, can you? But here is the completed chicken salad. It's pretty, right? I think so. And like I said yesterday after the taste test, it is delicious. So I hope you enjoy this recipe. And if you did, please give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing, because it will really help YouTube show my channel to more people, which is what I strive for. I'm close to hitting 10,000 subscribers. I hope to do that by the end of this year. So thanks for watching. And until we eat again, I hope you have a delicious day. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Visit kudoskitchenbyrenee.com for more tasty recipes.